Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Lanier National Speedway here on Extreme eSpeed TV as we have the Pro Late Model Dirt Series sanctioned event. It's the Frostbite 50 here kicking off the 2025 season with this non-points racing event. And Adam, we've got heat races in the books. B main is complete, and we have drivers getting ready to go out here for this feature event here tonight. 50 laps for $100 to win.
Oh man, there's no better way to spend a night like tonight. This Tuesday night is going to be a big one. Like you said, the third annual Frostbite 50 from Lanier National Speedway. We've got fixed setups for these pro late models, and like you said, $100 to win. Now, as you're getting a look here, you're getting a look at them gridding right now, and I'll tell you what, we got a full field, and it's all starting with Matthew Taylor up front, side by side with Brandon Marlowe. Behind him, it'll be Christopher Davis and Kendrick Hicks. Behind them, Casey Miracle and Michael D. Carter. Row 4 of Austin Cantrell and Mason Cassidy. And then rounding out the top 10 will be Jesse Newsom and Stephen Gaines. Now, as you get to the 6th row, you'll have Joshua Johnson and Michaela Steffs, followed by Dawson Lowe, Drew Hopkins, Josh Cody, Logan Bradford, and of course 17-18, Stephen Hart and Tyler Bowman. And the last 4, Brian Osho, Jacob Cannon, Evan Hinkle, and R.J. Miller. A full field as we begin things with the pace truck rolling out. We are just about ready to go green.
So 50 laps around this Lanier National Speedway here tonight. So 50 laps here is it's going to be Matthew Taylor and Brandon Marlowe. Of course, Brandon Marlowe, Kendrick Hicks, a few drivers in here we're used to seeing throughout the Pro Late Model Dirt Series season.
Yeah, we have beautiful weather tonight. Look at that, a full crowd for the Frostbite 50. I will say, looks a little warm out there today. A little chilly where we've been broadcasting lately, so nice to get this warm weather. I know little brother Andy kind of getting some vitamin D, which is good for him. And, ooh, a little dust in the air, and we are about ready for some action as the pace truck pulls off.
Green flag will wave out of turn number 4. It's Taylor Marlowe taking us to green in the Frostbite 50 here to kick off the 2025 season on Extreme eSpeed TV.
Oh, a big season ahead of us, and it starts right there. Lap number 1 is you've got Davis making an inside move but can't hold the line, and credit to Matthew Taylor. He has that preferred lane. He knows what he's doing. I'll tell you what, a lot of these guys got a great feel in practice earlier, so those tires are warm. That track is going to get slick, and I'll tell you what, it has been an eventful first lap, and it is Taylor holding on.
Taylor holds on up front. Back in the pack, though, we've got 3 wide racing here. That's Gaines in the 50. A caution flag will come out for the first time tonight. And we will look for that with the replay here.
Yeah, they had some good momentum going. We'll see if we can find that for you.
And it looks like Michaela Steffs going to be in that 33 machine, at least on our system here. And there's the contact off of the corner, the 249 machines there. Hard into that wall there into turn number 1.
Oh, another couple tires on the track. So recurring theme in this series is we have some hard hits in some of these. We're just making sure everyone's all right. And it looks like we'll reset the deck right here. And as a reminder, this is the 3rd annual Frostbite.
So $100 to the victor here tonight. First event of the 2025 season here for the Pro Late Model Dirt Series. As of course we will have racing action coming up soon. Take a look at that schedule coming up. You got here Lanier non-points, and then we have our crown jewel at Lernerville Speedway on February 2nd, kicking off the season. New schedule this year for the Pro Late Model Dirt Series, a Spring Nationals and a Fall Nationals. Nice little break in there in between so Adam can get some vacation time over the summer.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, we got some classics on this. As you're looking through there, back-to-back nights at Volusia. You know, we've got Fairbury Speedway back-to-back nights. Then you get into those Fall Nationals. You've got Eldora back-to-back. And You've got Lanier again back to back. So it is just, man, Cody works his magic. He puts a lot of thought and effort into this. So shout out to the race director. And I'll tell you what, in just under a month, February 5th from Lernerville, you're going to want to be watching that here on Extreme E-Speed TV. So this is kind of the appetizer for what's going to be a big main course of a season. And I'll tell you what, from experience last year, it goes by much too quickly. So we're glad you're tuning in with us tonight, and you're looking in on a really good night of action.
So we are still under caution here. We've got John Hine in race control tonight. Shout out to him, keeping order and the pace of this evening moving along.
Yeah, and we'll see kind of where these guys shake out. These might be some names that you might not be familiar with if you've been following the series for quite some time. We've had a lot of legendary drivers come in and out of this series, and we're ready to make some names again this year, as it looks like we're going back to green.
Green flag waves. It's still Matthew Taylor out front. Chris Davis and Brandon Marlowe behind him doing battle, as now that 15 machine of Michael Carter down to the inside as well. That 32 machine pressing hard. That's Christopher Davis.
Yeah, and Travis, what you always like to kind of note is your hard charge, or the ones that kind of moved up. And I'll tell you what, that Logan Bradford up 7 spots, sitting now in the top 10, that 67 machine. So keep an eye on him as he continues to move forward. And it is bunched there in the middle, and beautiful on-camera view, and you can just see how close these cars are getting. And it's a lot easier said than done to maintain that space as you get to straighten out again.
So Matthew Taylor still leads out front. Brandon Marlowe second. Christopher Davis in the third position, as they are nose to tail on that outside line. You've got the 17 of Mason Cassidy down there to the inside, with Newsom right behind him in the 8. As now we work lap number 8 here at Lanier. Things racy throughout. A lot of positions trading back and forth back in the pack. This is the 117 of Joshua Johnson. Josh Cody to his outside in the 116.
Yeah, pretty spacious right now. You see Taylor kind of running in his line and kind of setting the pace right now. Not too much of a challenge coming from Marlowe yet, but you got to think these guys are still getting a good feel of what this track has to offer. You do see Davis continuing to kind of move around there with Carter, who's up 2 spots, sitting in 4th.
So Matthew Taylor out front here as we'll complete lap number 10, 1/5 of the way here now this lap by. As it's easy sailing for Taylor out front right now. You got Brandon Marlowe there in second, Christopher Davis in third, the 15 of Michael Carter, and then Kendrick Hicks there in the 64 machine rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, and really that top 5, behind Taylor and Marlowe, a lot of flip-flopping taking place right now, and you get a look at Lowe and Cassidy swapping in that 9th and 10th place spot. A good battle taking place right there just around the top 10. And yeah, you've got Jacob Cannon up 9 spots, and in the top 5 right now. Just bounced down is Logan Bradford. He's putting some pressure on Kendrick Hicks right now, trying to get back into the top 5. Hicks down 1 spot from where he started this race.
Hicks and Bradford trading that spot back and forth at each end of the track as Hicks will battle through, and the caution flag comes out. As you see Stephen Hart around there in turn number 4. We'll pull up that replay. That 7H machine down to the inside will be the caution here. Oh, and it looks like a little bump there from behind possibly. Does that look like Austin Cantrell there?
Damage doesn't look too bad. It's something that you can kind of...
Sorry, that was Evan Hinkle, not Austin Cantrell there that made the contact.
Early in the season, we're all working through the kinks right now, and as we get there, we're about approaching that 40% of the way mark here in the Frostbite 50, the 3rd annual from Lanier. Remember, $100 on the line, so none of these guys want to put everything out there just yet, but for the moment, you've got guys like Taylor and Marla who are looking poised to collect that $100. That's some good gas money right there. That's some good grocery money and a little recovery after the holiday spending. So I'm really excited to see how this shakes out. I'm glad you're joining us. And as a reminder, season will continue in just under a month. February 5th is where we'll get the action back going. So we'll remind you of that a couple times, and be sure to follow along on the Pro Late Model Dirt Series Facebook page as we are going back to green here in lap 15.
Davis again using that inside line on the restart to move up in front of Marlowe, as Hicks also down to the inside, making his way up through. Bradford, you talked about him earlier, Adam. He is up 10 spots now into 6th. So that 67 machine is fast, and he is moving up quickly here on lap number 16, all the way up into the 6th position.
Yeah, and as we celebrate him, Logan joining the top 5 and continuing to battle there. We got to give some love also to Jacob Cannon, another driver who's up 10 spots, now up 11 as he's battling with Stephen Gaines for 9th at the moment. So, yeah, that 93 machine up 11 spots now as we get a caution out on the track.
I believe this was Joshua Johnson. He was stuck down on the inside of the front stretch as they pass by. So we'll re-rack them and stack them here on lap number 17 of 50 here in this Frostbite 50, the 2025 edition.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, we've got some drivers who are kind of waiting in the weeds. You've got Jacob Cannon up 10 spots. You've got really some other drivers really making their moves early. But as we've seen, all of last season, especially if tire wear ever becomes a factor, is it gets to the point where you've got to make that decision about this time in the race if you're going to push hard now and try to just hold the lead, or if you're going to try and wait and see if there's some wear. And right now, a lot of strategy being put in play as we approach really 40% of the way through this one. Not quite there yet, just a couple laps away.
So 2 by 2 they'll go. Marlowe going to have to restart in that 3rd position this restart. That'll give him that inside lane as Davis will take over the 2nd that last lap before the caution. So Matthew Taylor out front. Green flag waves, and we're back to racing action at Lanier.
Clean start there once again for Matthew Taylor and Brandon Marlowe. Kind of setting the pace. So you get a good slide down there from Davis, who gets in front of Marlowe. We'll see if Marlowe can jump back in front, and he does. A little brush of the wall from those guys on the outside lane, and we are now 40% of the way through this race.
So it continues to be side by side behind Taylor from 2nd on back. Cars from the inside all the way out to that outside wall there. 8 cars you can put a blanket over, with more battling happening behind them, including Mason Cassidy down to the inside.
Yeah, and I love that overhead view. You get just a sense of how wide they get in those opportunities, and then boom, they got to kind of close it and clamp it back up. So you get a great shot of the dirt flying in our faces here on Extreme eSpeed TV. Love these camera angles. Look at that 116 brushing the wall just briefly, but guys still holding on as we're just a couple laps away from being halfway through this race already. Hard to believe it. Frostbite 50 is continuing to press on, and Taylor setting the standard. We'll see if he has enough tread on those tires to hold that line, as you've got drivers like Bradford coming around the outside. Bradford up 11 spots as a reminder, so he had an easier time getting through the middle of the pack, but you can tell a little bit more of a challenge with these boys up front.
Bradford able to use that outside line. He'll cut across the track now down to the inside, really all over the track, able to race and make moves throughout, as he's got that 15 of Michael Carter to his inside. Carter stayed the middle lane there through 1 and 2. He'll do the same in 3 and 4. That will pinch down the 64 of Bradford. As they remain side by side, as now 8 of Newsom will enter the picture as well.
Yeah, we're getting introduced to a lot of drivers now. You got Bradford once again popped back down because Newsom's up 5 spots, and Davis now in that 2nd position. And I'll tell you what, Taylor's going to have a run for his money, although quite honestly, he's probably enjoying these guys putting up a battle and banging sheet metal behind him. keeps his car clean. And I don't think we're getting to a point, or at least not for a while, until lap traffic would become a factor. So clean sailing for Taylor out front.
4 wide out of turn number 2. They'll be able to race on through. As great racing action here at Lanier National Speedway tonight, kicking off the 2025 Pro Late Model Dirt Series season. And that's something we saw last year, Adam, with the regulars here for the Pro Late Model Dirt Series. A lot of green flag runs. We didn't really see that the first 3 years as much as we did last year of our broadcasts. But the skill levels and the comfortability of just racing around each other, especially as you get into that regular season when you're racing the same 20-some guys every week, you can get real comfortable and race them a little bit differently than you would when you're in something new without knowing the other people's moves.
Yeah, and like you said, I really think it does come down to the skill level. This is an elite group of men and women that race in this league, and I think you're right. In the respect that's kind of built in from the start, I think everybody knows what's on the line, especially for a $100 night like tonight. So respect is key, but you also got to think like, man, as the season goes on, these guys are going to probably know a lot of each other's tendencies, and it'll make the racing even more intense, even more strategic going into each week and a different track each time. So it's sure a heck of a treat if we get the caution coming out with 16 to go. We'll see who that is.
It looks like it's going to be Stephen Gaines. As we see into 1 and 2. Oh, and just up into the 79 machine there on the exit. And that will bring it out. So, Tyler Bowman, one of the regulars here with the Pro Late Model Dirt Series, running in 12th still, as he was a part of that with Stephen Gaines. And by a part of it, I mean just riding along there on the exit of the corner. As we will reorder them here now. Gaines will fall back to 20th. Dawson Lowe, he's in 21st. And Joshua Johnson appears to be possibly a lap down there in the 22nd position.
Yeah, so you're getting a look right now at some series, a little bit of a mix. You've got some series veterans from the last few years, some just joining the Pro Late Model Dirt Series last year, and you got a lot of new faces. So the fun thing about this is, you get it all set up in this very official league here, but a lot of these folks, they've been racing together, and whether it be in other leagues or just kind of offline in other kind of lobbies. So it's fun when you get them all together and you put them on a stage like tonight. You got a full sold out crowd here, and I'll tell you what, it is it's an introduction to a lot of us, including many of us here in the booth. So heck of a performance being put on, as we've got just under 60% of this race to go and 4 cautions in. So these guys are running pretty clean for the most part today to get, just some great views and sounds as well coming from this track.
So 2 by 2 they're lined up. 16 laps to go here at Lanier National Speedway. So Taylor's been able to hold on to this lead here. He's got Marlowe to his right, Newsom behind him, and that 67 of Bradford now in row number 2. Green flag waves. We're back to racing action. Big move by Newsom. He'll slide up in front of the 38 of Taylor. That will stack him up. Marlowe now down to the inside.
Wow, and yeah, we've got our first kind of big change at the top. Newsom making a name for himself up 8 spots, and just like that, Taylor's fallen all the way down to what looks like 7th, 8th now at the moment. So something going on with Taylor's car, as he is now down to 8. Oh, caution coming out.
So caution comes out. Don't see what happened. Although we did have Hicks and O'Shell go into the pit lane. So we will just wait for them to restack up here and see what happened. Christopher Davis did fall down to the 20th position, so he may have been involved in something there. Newsom made the big move on that restart, slid up in front of Taylor, which then stacked them up, which, you know, we talked about Taylor falling back at him. With the caution, he actually looks like he will be in fourth on this. Nope, third on this restart.
Okay, so yeah, not the most damaging, but you got to think there's a little bit of frustration. You know, probably not the restart and beginning of after that caution he wanted. So a little bit of ground to make up as you see the pace truck come off, and we're back to green.
Green flag waves. Taylor quick to the inside there of Marlowe. He'll do the same slide up 4 wide coming out of turn number 4. That's Bradford down to the inside. Now Taylor still to the outside. Newsom will come out of this first lap back to green as the leader still. As a big move by Taylor now down to the inside as he battles back for his position. He held on for the first 35 laps.
Oh man, and Newsom just had enough grip on that top line. Heck of a dive there from Taylor. And you see Newsom holding on there, and now they are neck to neck headed to the start-finish line. And Newsom, yeah, you got to think that strategy worked once, and we tried it again on the restart, and right now Taylor's taking back what's his.
Taylor will take the lead out of turn number 4 here as he's got Marlowe and Bradford to his inside. Newsom right behind him. A great 4-car battle up front as now the 15 of Carter. Ooh, the 38 of Taylor gets into the wall. He'll lose his wing, his spoiler on the back. And we will see if that will affect his driving here as he has had a fast car all night as it's gotten racy up front. Now Bradford to the lead.
Oh, man, Bradford taking advantage, but I'll tell you who's not going away. Newsom as he just sneaks back inside, but keep an eye out for Marlowe. Been running second several times tonight, has yet to kind of hold some lead laps, and he's just waiting in the weeds right now. Oh, contact, almost an intentional right turn, and boy, did that stack up the deck and cause a big caution.
So Bradford coming out of the corner, car jerked hard to the right in front of Newsom as he will pull into the work area there. Newsom, you can see his damage to the car as well. And we will look for that replay. As we missed it there, let's go back and catch that one more time. As you see, the car there just shot up to the right in turn number 2, right in front of Newsom. As we'll reorder them with 8 laps to go. It's going to be Marlowe, Hopkins, Carter, and Taylor currently showed 4th.
Yeah, that was some of the most intense racing we've seen, and all it took is one right turn and a lot of damage for some front runners. And just like I was saying before the caution, Brandon Marlowe, just a squeaky wheel eventually gets the grease, and he was able to kind of take advantage of that right now.
So that will shake up the running order up front as Bradford, Newsom involved. So Marlowe and Hopkins will be row number 1. Carter, Taylor, row number 2. Cannon and Cassidy behind, as we have what will be 8 laps to a $100 victory here at Lanier tonight. Green flag wave, single file restart this time. 8 laps to go here at Lanier. Marlowe out front, the 157 of Hopkins, and then the 15 of Carter.
Marlowe, a really strong restart there. Hopkins, though, going to have to put similar pressure to what we saw from Newsom. You get a little bit of a bounce there at the top of your screen, and some of those guys in the middle of the pack trying to get to the top 5, but there's no money like first place money, and right now Marlowe 7 laps away, now 6 laps away from collecting that check, but coming from the outside, you've got a hard push there from Carter. All these cars real scraped up, real dented and damaged, and I'll tell you what, it's been a hard-fought battle tonight, and we're now just 5 laps away from Venmoing out that cash. Ooh, a little bit of a bumper flies off, and someone just got a little bit lighter.
4 wide there for a moment from second on back, as it's the 157 of Hopkins able to hold on. With Carter down to his inside, the 17 of Cassidy and Cannon in that 93 looking on as well. As they do battle for second, Marlowe out front has got to be loving this racing action behind him, as now we've got 3 laps to go.
Ooh, 3 is in the air. Oh, a little bit of a caution. Well, not a caution. Oh, now it comes out. You can see that coming as one of those drivers just got sent to the wall. That might have been Carter.
As we'll watch the replay, Carter out there to the outside in that 15 machine. Got tight at the line and continued there as they headed off into turn number 1. So we will reorder here. 2 laps to go when we go back to green.
Yeah, and if you're Marlowe, you're going to have those deep dives from some of the drivers behind you, but all he has to do is don't spin those tires. Just have a good restart, hit your marks, take that preferred lane where you've got more grip, and Marlowe will be home free. So it's just going to come down to just executing at this point, and we'll see if we get side-by-side restarts or single file. Right now they're single file, and kind of hear the trains at the nearby station going by.
So another single file restart here, 2 laps to go. It'll be Marlowe, Hopkins, Cassidy. Cannon in 4th, very quietly moving up 16 spots as the green flag waves. Hopkins up a dozen spots, up into 2nd as well. So some big movers here as we inch closer to the finish here, as Marlowe will make his way around. White flag will wave this time by Marlowe out front, as he'll have to hold off Cassidy and Hopkins. He'll stay down to the inside through 1 and 2. 17 of Cassidy right in his tracks down the backstretch. Down to the inside. Cassidy will force it. He'll move Marlowe up out of the way, and it will be the 17 of Cassidy. Oh, contact with Hopkins for 3rd.
What a start to the 2025 season. It is Mason Cassidy collecting the cash.
So Cassidy with the win as he'll celebrate there on the front stretch. Jacob Cannon is our hard charger. He's up 16 spots to a 4th place finish. As there is the 93 of Cannon, a fast hot rod there. Drew Hopkins also will finish 11th. You see he's down a tire. He is up 11 spots. Tyler Bowman finishes 6th. He's up 12 spots as well. as they will line up for that photo there on the start finish line. We'll take a look at those final results here at this point. From Lanier, Mason Cassidy, your winner, $100 richer here tonight with a last lap pass on Brandon Marlowe. Drew Hopkins in third, Kendrick Hicks fourth, Jacob Cannon, your top five. Tyler Bowman in sixth, Brian O'Shell, Michaela Steffes, Stephen Hart, and Austin Cantrell will round out your top 10 as we'll go through the rest of that finishing. And with that, we will bring in Drew Hopkins, our third place finisher tonight. And Adam, you've got Drew.
That's right, Drew. Climbing 11 spots from where you started. You get a podium finish. It's not first place, but man, it was an impressive run. How do you feel about those 50 laps tonight?
I don't know. I wish we'd have had a little more there. Getting caught in that early incident there kind of hurt because I had to go all the way to the tail. So basically drove 22nd to third, and I should have stayed bottom there. But I've raced with Brandon for years. I know he's pretty good running the middle bottom. So I felt like 3 and 4 had enough up top. It's just 1 and 2. I should have in the bottom, then went high in 3 and 4. That's just a mistake on me, and I don't think Brandon got that. I was kind of hoping he'd win that there.
So is it to the point where maybe, let's say this was a 60 lap race. Do you think an additional amount of laps could have gotten you there? Or do you feel like this was the best your car after some of that early damage could have done?
That's probably all I could have done because when I went to the infield, I was sliding in the grass and came back out trying to. I think I burned my right rear up trying to get back through the field. So it just after we took that restart there with 9 to go, single file Brandon, he was just. We was about the same speed. It was just I didn't have nothing left to get back by him.
All right. Well, thanks again for your time. Hope to talk to you in some future races this season. But any partners, any sponsors you want to shout out?
Yeah, just first and foremost, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Without him, we wouldn't be able to come out here and have some fun on a Tuesday night. And then just want to thank my Majola Say Speed Shop for all they do, Chris, Ferguson, Blake Majolas, Evan Say for all they've done for my racing career, Keltner contract. And give a shout out to Evan, Nolan, and Jace and Tyler. I'm trying to help some local boys here from home get going. Just a shout out to them. And I got in the league with Cody this year, so I'm looking forward to running the full tour with them guys and you guys for broadcasting.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Drew. We're looking forward to watching you finish on the podium in more of these races coming up. And God bless, and have a good rest of your week.
Yes, sir. You too, man.
That's Drew Hopkins, our third place finisher. Now joining us is our second place finisher. It's Brandon Marlowe. Brandon, you were part of that front pack all night long. Walk us through your race up until that finish there.
That was a good race. A lot of hard racing, but clean for the most part there until the end. But definitely a fun race. Hated that it played out the way it did.
Before we get to the finish there, about 10 laps to go, it got extremely racy up front there towards one of those last restarts. A lot of big moves being made. When you're someone that's up there, obviously in a good spot to go after the leader, but you have some hungry guys behind you, what are you trying to do to make sure you don't lose the position you've got?
I knew those guys were throwing some big sliders and everything, so just trying to hold my line, just maintain my position, try not to lose positions, but also not get caught up in any of the wrecks or anything with the big lane changes and sliders, all the hard racing. Just at that point in the race, just trying to maintain pretty much.
And then that last lap, it looked like you had something down there on the inside. It looked like you were going to make them make a move around you there. It looked like Mason found a way to make the inside of you still work. What was the strategy there, and I guess how could it have played out differently for you, and is there anything you could have done differently?
Man, I was just running my line, running the bottom there. It's way easier to pass people when you drive through them instead of around them, So that's how it goes sometimes. Like it's just how racing is, I guess. Like that's the easy way to do it. It's not always the right way, but yeah, it is what it is. I mean, it's always nice to get a podium, but it sucks after getting the lead there close to the end and leading that last handful of laps.
Well, we know you had a fast car last year in the season, and we look forward to another fast season for you with some wins and podiums ahead. And also, obviously a fast car here to start the 2025 season. Any sponsors, any people you want to give a shout out to tonight for the car?
I just got to give a big shout out to Jacob last year. He had some bad luck there in his heat race and didn't make the feature. He stuck around and was helping me out there, spotting for me. Just got to thank him for that, and then all the rest of the guys with Hot Lap Heroes Racing, Cody for putting this deal on, and you guys for always doing a great job with the broadcast.
Well, thank you, Brandon. We'll see you next month as the season kicks off, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, appreciate it.
That's Brandon Marlowe. He's our second place finisher tonight. And now joining Adam from Victory Lane, it's Mason Cassidy.
That's right. Joined alongside Mason Cassidy, first of what could be several podium finishes this season. And Mason, walk us through that dramatic final lap, and really it came down to the very end. But kind of walk us through your thinking on those final turns.
I definitely didn't think I was gonna have a shot there. And Drew, I didn't expect Drew to go high. I expected him to stay low, because the low line there at the end was definitely going to win the race, whoever did it the best. And when he went top, I realized, I gained the leader. I closed 2 car lengths in a corner, so I definitely didn't want to wreck him for it. I don't race like that, but at the same time, I gotta do something to try to get it, and that's what I did. So I'm freaking pumped, man.
Oh, yeah, it's a big win and a great way to start the season. Looking at kind of where you finished, you're up 7 spots from where you started. So even beginning the night, you had a fast car, you had a capable car, and regardless of how it ended, did you feel like you had a car that could compete with the top dogs tonight, or are you pleasantly surprised to finish on the podium?
Oh, I definitely came into the night expecting to win. My buddy and teammate there, Jesse Newsom, we've been practicing all day yesterday, and Brian, and we put in some more work today. So I knew it was definitely going to be one of us out of our group who's going to get it done. I feel terrible what happened to Jesse there, but it's just nothing we can do about it.
No, you got to move on for the next one, and looking forward to seeing you and the rest of your guys kind of race side by side and have more dramatic finishes like that this season. And before we let you go, obviously want to give you a chance to shout out any partners or sponsors.
I like to thank my boss, Custom Bath Accessories, Tristan over at Victory Vinyl Works. He whipped me up a wrap today. Freaking awesome. All the guys, all of our guys from our little group for watching, and you guys for putting on the broadcast, and the guys for putting on the race. It was great.
Awesome. Well, Mason, thank you again for your time. Congratulations on the win. You're $100 richer, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again pretty soon.
Yes, sir. I'll see you guys soon.
And with that is the final here from Lanier National Speedway as mark off event number 1 here on the 2025 Pro Late Model Dirt Series schedule. We'll be back on February 5th for the Lernerville Speedway Crown Jewel event, kicking off the points portion of Spring Nationals here for the 2025 Pro Late Model Dirt Series, presented by Extreme eSpeed TV, as we will have a Spring Nationals and a Fall Nationals this year. So a lot of fun put together here by Cody Early as we kick off this 2025 season. As always, make sure you follow the Pro Late Model Dirt Series on Facebook. Make sure you subscribe to Extreme eSpeed TV so you don't miss any of the broadcasted events all season long. For Adam Johnson, I am Travis Piercefield. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you at a racetrack soon.
This copyrighted broadcast of Extreme eSpeed TV Network is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without express written consent of the Extreme eSpeed TV Network is strictly prohibited. We hope you've enjoyed this broadcast.